what's up? It is time for another Court Connection with Corey G. You are around, join me. I would love to have you hang out with me while we discuss this topic of personal development, which is the world I live in, breathe in, sleep in. It's just, I've been in this world forever, and it's often a world that has a little bit of stigma, but absolutely has amazing healing properties and transformational achievements, and at the same time often can feel awful. So I want to share some thoughts on what to do if you are going through a period of personal growth and you know eventually you're going to get to a better place, but right now it just feels plain awful. So I am going to get this shared over to my personal page and then share some thoughts with you and some tools with you. And of course, if you are in a place where you are really wanting to make some significant changes in your life and you're just not even sure perhaps what it might look like and what might be required to get there, I would love to talk to you about that. Hi, Susie. And share some, just some suggestions and tools and resources that I have, because that's the world I live in and breathe in, and I'm constantly researching and experimenting and applying different methods and modalities to my life so that you don't have to. But my goal is always to create with my clients their perfect protocol for them. So really making adjustments to their environment, to their practices, to the systems and structures, to their methods of communication, and even their belief systems, thought systems, conversations that they're having, actions that they're taking, all of that, raising it to a higher level so that they are stepping into that next level version of who they're truly meant to be. Truly meant to be. So, okay, if you are around, say hello. Okay, so this topic, of course, I live in the personal development world, and I am a huge advocate for personal development, but often it's hard to see at times the tangible benefits, especially when you're going through it and you're going through a really difficult period and you're just kind of wondering, what is this about? And often, actually, this is pretty common, that when you are reaching to the next level, whatever that might be for you, that you'll go through a pretty significant challenge. And often this looks like maybe struggling with identity and who are you and what do you really want, and is it even possible, and maybe you should just be okay where you are. So some identity issues, struggling with really, or grappling maybe is the better word, of the old belief systems that you may be operating under and how those need to be changed and modified, how relationships might need to be adjusted as you step into this new level. So there's lots of forces at work when you're in a place of wanting to make change. And of course, those forces often feel like they're battling within you, and that results in you not always feeling like wanting to continue to do the work. And honestly, I feel like this is a lot of times why many people either shy away from personal development, or maybe talk bad about it, or are sometimes even just afraid of it because it's scary. You're stepping into the unknown, you're stepping into uncertainty, and you're really placing your faith in something in the unseen, and something that you don't know. You don't know, is it going to work? Am I going to be this thing that I desire, this person that I desire? Am I going to be able to create what it is that I desire? And what am I going to have to go through to get there? So what hell am I going to have to go through to get there? And so often that's a big enough deterrent that a lot of people kind of stay away from it. But I'm here to tell you the hell is worth it, and to share with you some tools if you are in a place where you're going through a little bit of hell. Because, first of all, it's normal. And often that is a good sign that you are bumping up against old ways of being and believing and acting and operating. And that's why it feels really uncomfortable, because you're breaking out into a new space. And it's never comfortable breaking out into a new space. So what I want to share with you is, when you're going through a difficult period, whether, again, that's making a change, or you've hit sort of a rough patch, and this could look like a significant loss or a significant change that is occurring in your life, and you just feel like, I'm not really sure what's next for me, and I'm not even sure I have the tools to figure out what's next for me and how to get to that next place, and you're just not a lot of the feelings that are coming up often are feelings of doubt, not trusting yourself that you know what to do or how to get to the next place or how to even work through some of the more challenging emotions that we experience. So when you're in that place, what I want to suggest for you to work through it in a more effective and positive way is to think about, if a child came to you crying, asking for help, what would be your response in that moment? So would you want to be curious and know more about what was happening to make them feel that way? Would you offer encouragement and support and acknowledgement of what they were feeling was valid, and that you would be there to support them as they work through it, that you weren't going to force them to get over it more quickly than they needed to, or tell them that was ridiculous to feel that way, or shame them in any way, that you were just going to provide the space for them to have their natural evolution through that process. And then even acknowledge how much you appreciate them and love them and how strong they are for going through something like this, and modeling a behavior that allows them to see it's safe to share their feelings, that their feelings are valid and not going to eat them up and not going to take them down and not going to give them shame and embarrassment, and that you're going to be there for them even when things aren't working, that you're not going to abandon them just because they're a mess, that's actually an opportunity for you and your child, your inner child in this case, to form a closer bond and to start to realize you're on the same page and you're in this together. And so and then to see, asking that child, what do you need from me right now? What would be loving for you in this case? So that you're helping them build that confidence in those skills, that they learn themselves emotional mastery, that they learn it's safe to have all range of emotions and that none of them are bad or evil or shameful or embarrassing, and that they have the tools and skills to work through them and to take care of themselves in a way that feels supportive and encouraging and helps them to grow and become stronger and more confident. So, would love to hear your thoughts. And a lot of this is thinking about when you have been going through a difficult period, or you have been with someone who's gone through a difficult period, is to think about the feeling of being able to offer support and encouragement to that person. And in those moments, often, I would hope most of us, there is no judgment, there is no criticism. It's just offering a space to let them experience what it is they're going through. And of course, in that moment, we want what's best for them. We want to support them in designing for themselves what they need and deciding what steps they need to take to help them to be in a better state of being. So, because what happens often is when we're going through ourselves a difficult period, it's hard often to see what we need, and it's hard to be nice to ourselves, and we want ourselves just to get over it and get it over with and move on. And sometimes we end up criticizing ourselves and abandoning ourselves and telling ourselves we're wrong and that we can't be trusted and that whatever we're experiencing is silly and stupid. And the most grave part of this, the most detrimental aspect of this, is we start to lose our value in ourselves. And what I have seen for myself and for clients I've worked with is that often when we're going through a difficult period, we withdraw our worth and value from ourselves. It's almost as if, as long as I'm okay, as long as I'm, working at a good job and making good money and in a good relationship and being a good parent and being a good community member, then I have value. But the minute I'm in a place of struggle, well, then I don't have any value, because what am I contributing when I'm struggling? I don't feel like I'm contributing anything, so I must not really have value unless I'm successful. And when we can start to see the damage of that and to see how conditional our love and value of ourselves is, that we place our worth on external circumstances and our love and acceptance of ourselves on external circumstances, we can start to see that and shift and say, would I do that to a child? Would I think a child was any less worthy because they were going through a difficult period? Would I think my closest friend was any less worthy because they were going through a difficult period? Would I think they weren't adding value? No, of course not. Of course, I would believe, and I know deep in my heart and soul, that they have value no matter what they're going through, no matter where they are in life, no matter how difficult the period they're going through is. They have value. But again, for ourselves, sometimes it's a different story. And so the tool I want to share with you, like I mentioned, is if you can come to yourself the same way you would come to a child asking for help, or your closest friend would come to you when they were going through a difficult period, if you can bring that type of support, curiosity, compassion, kindness, to stand with yourself, to not jump in the pool and feel awful with your inner child, but just to stand there and allow the space for your inner child to have its fit, to acknowledge it, to listen to it, to ask what it needs, to ask what would be loving in that moment, and then to provide lovingly for that part of you, the same way you would provide lovingly for a child or to your closest friend. Then again, the same as a child, you start to learn how to better support yourself through difficult periods, and those difficult periods tend to be less long-lived and less challenging to overcome and less challenging to even be in when you're going through them. So, would love to hear your thoughts. And of course, if you are in a place where you are creating a new level of success for yourself, a new stage of your life, wanting to make a significant change, and are feeling kind of not great, or doesn't really feel like you're making the type of success or the type of strides or getting the type of results that you want, or you're kind of in that cycle of negativity and doubt and want to break through to really truly being the best version of you, because spiritual and personal growth and development is a lifelong journey. And there's going to be some bumps in the road, but having the right kind of support as you go through it is invaluable, so that you are learning the tools and the resources to learn how to even support yourself through the next level that you go through. So all of this is equipping you with the skills and tools and resources to know what you need and how to get there, and having guides to help you to create that formula for you, that protocol for you, that strategy and system for you specifically and what you're going through is worth its weight in gold, honestly. So reach out to me, and I'd love to talk to you about what your deepest desire is and why you feel like it's maybe not coming into fruition, or taking a little bit longer than you would expected, or maybe questioning if you really want it, or feeling like there's just something blocking you from really being open to having the life that you truly desire in every area of your life. Reach out to me, send me a DM, and we will connect. And I'd love to support you in really being at a place where you feel you are the master of your life, of your emotions, of your energy, of your communication, of your identity, all of that, your desires, and knowing that all that you desire, you can create in any moment. Okay, talk to you soon.